So it's cool, but go Utes.
Yeah. Don't make me give you the Gator chomp.
Oh, dude, we're gonna have a little rivalry going here, man. So Jeff, what part of Florida are you from?
St. Augustine.
St. Augustine. Okay, so now I'm not very familiar with Florida. I've been to Orlando once. I was there earlier this year. But as far as like proximity to Orlando, how far is that?
Oh, I'd say about 2.5 to 3 hours, depending on where in Orlando you're going. But if I'm going to Disney, probably about 2.5 hours. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I got to go to Orlando at the beginning of this year to go to the ADI kickoff, and just learn a little bit more about ADI, things that we can do with them. And on our way out, I had my car keys in my backpack, and it's just one of the proximity car keys. And so I'm like, okay, it's cool. I'm going to walk up, going to open up the tailgate, throw my backpack in. It's going to unlock as soon as we do that, and I'm going to go get in, and we'll go catch our flight. Well, no, I closed the hatch, and it locked with the car keys inside of it, and we needed to go catch our flight. So it was me and Tanner, our distribution channel manager, who was there as well. Both of us at the same flight home. And so I immediately start calling everybody, being like, oh, no, I got to get a locksmith out of here ASAP. We've got a flight that leaves in 2.5 hours. And they were like, okay, yeah, it looks like we can get somebody there in an hour. I'm like, okay. And so while we're waiting on a locksmith to get there, I had to go. We went inside of the hotel and saw, well, do you have anybody that can help us out with this? So they came out with their tools, and they couldn't get it going. And an hour and a half had passed, and I call them like, guys, we've got a flight in an hour and a half. Where is everybody? And they're like, oh, it looks like he's still an hour out. I'm like, great. And all of our bags are still in the car. So I hurried and got an Uber for Tanner, our distribution channel manager, to hurry and get to the airport, and he made the flight home, but I ended up having to stay an extra night. It was all sorts of chaos, but yeah, not a lot of fun. So I have had a lot of good luck flying this year, that's for sure. It's either I've always had storms, or I've had locking in my car keys in the car and missing a flight. If for those of you guys who watched the Big Access podcast, we talked a couple episodes ago with Fortress Security, who we got caught in a tornado and ended up having to have our flights canceled that night. And so it's just been all sorts of drama flying this year. But anyways, hopefully everything goes well for the rest of this time. But that's my one experience with Florida. But Jeff, we're not here to talk a little about Florida. We're not here to talk about all of our experiences with travel. What we're really here to talk about today is MyDoorView, which is a really cool integration that we've got here at PDK with you guys. It's a intercom system, and we're excited to learn a little bit more about that today, about what's coming, and really why partners should be looking into MyDoorView. So, Jeff, thanks a ton for joining us on the Big Access podcast today.
Yeah, same here. Thanks for the time. So basically, I'll give you a little background on where we started. And
yeah, that's ultimately what I want to do, and what I want to learn a little bit more about is who is MyDoorView.
Right. So we started. So I was a project manager for a company doing fire alarm, basically everything low voltage in a multifamily, multiple multifamily properties. So one day the owner's rep came up to me and says, "Hey, the boss wants to see video from the telephone entry." This is back in 2012 and 2013. So basically, there was nothing like that existed at the time. And so we started looking into it. I said, all right, let me see what I could find. I'll see if there's anything out there that exists. I haven't heard of anything, but I'll take a look. 3-4 days later, I was digging through all kinds of stuff, making all kinds of phone calls. One gentleman that I spoke to said to me, "You can't do it. You can't do what you want to do. It doesn't exist. There's no way for it to work." So I'm like, there's got to be a way to do it. So basically, the short version that we came up with was basically having the call comes in, we can launch the video. They can press a button and basically hit a little icon on their phone and launch the IP video from that camera on there. So what we quickly discovered, the camera is only going to carry 3 streams. There are people that are looking at that camera all day long.
Yeah,
so nobody can get a legitimate stream to see who's at the door. So the next thing was we basically looked into okay, what would it do to make this happen? All right. So we had an idea. I spoke to a developer that I knew. And he came back and says, we can make this happen with, we can launch the video. We can launch an app with an incoming call. I said, brilliant. Let's do it.
Dude, that's really cool. And so you guys had it set up where somebody walks right up to the panel. They can then go ahead and call, and it opens up an app on the phone.
Yep, it was an old Door King 1835. We put an IP camera on it, and when the caller ID hit that phone, it launched the app. So that was the beginning of MyDoorView. That was day one, right? So we got working. As time went on, we got some traction. And then we had some competitors come into the market with a sleeker, sexy panel, and nobody wanted the old, big old box on their wall anymore. So we still kept it up for a while. We still support it. We occasionally will sell it sometimes, but it's not a big thing anymore. Adding IP video to that. So of course it's difficult to keep it going because IP addresses change, things happen, it can be problematic. So in any case, moving forward now, we, prior to that, we knew we were onto something with the video telephone-entry.
Yeah.
So we applied for a patent back in 2013, 2014. After a bunch of revisions, many years passed. So we finally got our patent in 2021.
Cool. And what, talk to me a little bit about that patent, because that's cool. What is that patent all about?
The patent covers video telephone entry. Just that. It's a very broad patent that I can't go into any specifics of what we're doing with it, but basically we own the patent on video telephone entry technology.
That is really big, dude. That's really cool.
Yeah. So we have that. Then we came out with our panel, of course our patent covers that, right? So we have our patent, we have the panel, we have the, and at first our patent was our panel was very basic in terms of it was a database, right? And it could just make a phone call, send a video call. But since then, we've just kept on going and adding more features, constantly just adding to it. We now have license plate reader as a credential. We have, I can't even list everything that we do. That we have a bunch of options, a bunch of features that you can do with it. We now even have the QR code virtual telephone entry.
Okay.
And that works with everything that we do with our elevator controls, with our LPR. And the beauty of that, when we get to the PDK integration, because we have it right now, the PDK integration, but it's very basic. So we had a conversation just a couple weeks ago with your development team, and they're going on to a Gen 2 API, and that's going to give us a whole host of features. So basically, that's going to be, for the most part, we're going to use, your customers are going to use your portal to control everything in MyDoorView.
That's cool. So I want to talk a little bit more about that QR, QR management that you were just talking about. So for people who are new to the intercom realm, tell them what is that QR management? How does that work with you guys? Why is that beneficial?
Gotcha. So instead of putting a panel on the building and running a cable to it, basically they can put a QR code placard that we provide, nice stainless placard. They put it on the front of the building, and someone comes up with their phone, they scan that QR code, and it'll bring up our telephone entry, our graphic onto their phone. So it is protected by geofencing, so somebody couldn't leave with it.
Yeah.
It's protected by, that we have to use your camera, that kind of thing. Of course, somebody can face the camera away, but basically it uses the camera on their phone. All the calls are made through our server, so it'll actually route through. It's not a one-to-one communication. It routes through our server. And that gives them the ability to unlock the door. So basically our app launches on the resident's phone. They can see that person that's calling them, and they can do the unlock from there. They can do the swipe to open from their app. Everything that our app, all the functionality that our app has, they will have. There's no difference whatsoever, and there's no difference between our panel and the QR code. So if you have your QR code, it does everything that our panel does.
That is so cool. So when I think about that, does that open up the door for a lot more installers out there to be able to get intercom on facilities that normally might not have been able to do that?
Right. So you could have, let's say any PDK door on a property, that door can now be eligible to be a telephone entry door. So if you have a system that doesn't have a telephone entry on that door, and now they want to start running cables. Post construction is very difficult, right? You got to cut through walls and drag through ceilings and everything else to get a wire out to that door. Drill a hole, to get that wire outside, the whole bit. You don't have to do any of that now. You just simply put it right on the wall.
That is so cool. And so if somebody were to, I guess is that QR code's got to be unique, right, to every building. And so you guys go ahead, you guys create that, and then that is sent out to the partner where they can go ahead and mount that to the wall, right?
Yep. So if somebody let's say somebody called us today and they want a QR code on the building, we can have them up and running in like 10 minutes.
Dude.
Set it up, give them the QR code. They can print it out on a piece of paper. If they need it up and running right now, they can put it in the window. It'll work. But the like I said, we develop. We have a placard that we use it's unique for every property. So on that placard, I have one right here if you want to see it.
Yeah, pull it up.
So basically we have we have visitor access on here. We have the QR code on it. We have the property logo, and then we can also put the dealer's logo on here as well.
Oh, cool.
We can have they're custom. We can make them to any size. The largest one that we've made so far is 13 by 16. That was covering up a hole in the wall from a legacy telephone entry.
That's a great idea, man.
So we made it nice and big. Yep.
That is so cool. And so after somebody reaches out to you and they get maybe that QR code and whatnot, what does programming the software look like in order to make it so that each one of these residences then are able to get their apps going and be able to actually have a fully functional intercom system on their building?
Well, basically for the resident, they get loaded into the system. So if we're doing with the ProdataKey integration, it's just simply going to be the database transfer, and then through the setup process, we're going to be also triggering the PDK relays through the API. So it's just a matter of there's no hardware. That's the beauty of it. We're just going to be point and click in our portal, and it's going to trigger that relay on your equipment. So there's nothing else to buy. So the installation is very inexpensive. But anyway, get back to your question. The resident experience, they're going to get loaded into the system through PDK, and then they're going to receive an email and a text message from MyDoorView welcoming them to the system, and that they can now download the app. So they download the app, they're going to put in their phone number, their email address, and that's it. It'll now provision them to use the system, and they get a phone call from our panel or the QR code, and they have that video. They have all the functionality of the app. They can even set it up. Let's say somebody doesn't want the app, or maybe it's grandma with a flip phone, right? They can still use the functionality. They can still get that phone call. *9 will unlock the door, so they don't have to have the app if they didn't want it.
Okay, that's cool. That is awesome. So let's transition for a little bit from who MyDoorView is and talk about that integration and why that integration came about, how it came about, and really learn the benefits there. So talk to me a little bit about why, or I guess why was an integration with PDK needed and how that came about.
Well, I met with your team at a show a few years back, and we got to talking, and the concept of the integration came up, and both parties seemed to think that it was a good idea. So we kind of got our development teams talking, and next thing we knew, we were getting it all set up and working. So you guys don't have a telephone entry of your own, right? So it worked out to provide that service for you. So in that regard, it's a good partnership.
Yeah, that's awesome. So talk to me about what, how did writing and working that integration together, what did that process look like for you guys?
Basically, it was just our developer. He got access to a sandbox account from your cloud node. And that was, it took him a few weeks to get it set up and tweaked. And we're going to do it again with your Gen 2 API. We're hoping to have that released by mid-October. That will be fully functioning. So that's the kind of the next steps is that we're gonna, we can integrate today. It's only a database integration, so it's not that deep of an integration. But the next step, like I said, is going to be basically your portal will be controlling everything MyDoorView. So for the most part, once we have the integration piece set up and the two systems, the two clouds are talking, then your property managers will not even have to use our portal. So they can do everything through PDK, adding residents, deleting residents, all the logging, all that stuff should basically work between both systems.
That's cool. And just automatic synchronization between the two. So once you enter it, it'll automatically go and take care of the MyDoorView things as well. So really makes it very simple and easy.
Right. And our panel does have a built-in card reader as well. So it'll be one device out there. So hopefully with, once we are enhancing the card reader that's on there right now. Right now, it's only a 26-bit low security card reader. So we're going to be putting in a newer card reader that will have the BLE technology and NFC. It'll have everything that you want it to do. So that will work from our, basically from our panel through your system. So there won't be a need for another device outside.
No, that's really cool. That makes it very simple and easy. And it's just relay triggering at that point to unlock, any of the PDK doors that you might have on site, right?
Right. Installation is super easy because it's only going to be a Cat 6 out to the panel. Everything else happens to the API.
Awesome.
PoE. That's it. Yep.
The cloud makes things pretty cool, right?
The cloud's awesome. Yeah. A funny thing that I heard a long time ago is technology's a really good thing until it doesn't work. But we've done so many things on our system to back that up. That okay, if we lose an internet connection, how do we back that up? We have secondary relays on our panel that we could tie into your system as a Rex input. So in case we do lose internet connection, we have backups. We have backups in place. Same thing with our LPR. Everything is hosted in that device that's at the gate. So all the transactions happen locally at the gate. So if we lose internet connection, we still have our most recent update is still valid. So that would be for resident LPR and guest LPR as well.
Dude, that's really cool. So I know that, you guys are a fantastic intercom system out there, and there's definitely some other intercom systems that are out there. So why would a partner, why would they want to consider looking at MyDoorView specifically?
Well, I think our pricing is a good price point as far as the device itself. The QR code, there's no upfront cost whatsoever. And then you have, the monthly. So our monthly is, from what I understand, is lower than our competitors.
That's awesome. So a lot more recurring revenue potential there.
Yes, absolutely. And we basically go to the dealer, and then we have the dealer mark it up and bill their customers. So that's very important to us is our dealers. It's key to our business. We do not, we'd never cut out a dealer and go direct to the customer. We do not sell direct to end users whatsoever.
That's awesome. I mean, that's ultimately how PDK is as well. We are 100% partner fanatics over here. We want to make sure that our partners are taken care of, and we never go around them to work with the end users at all. We are definitely all about going through that dealer channel there. So we've got an alignment there. So that's great. Jeff, how do people go about learning a little bit more about MyDoorView or getting set up with you?
They can reach out to me directly if they like. They can also go to our website, MyDoorView.com. There's a bunch of information on there, and we're enhancing that as well to give more information on the website. But yeah, they can always reach out to me directly if they like. They contact me even through our website. So that's info@MyDoorView.com or Jeff@MyDoorView.com.
That's awesome. So another way to do it as well, we will have a custom landing page on our website as well. So if you go out to ProdataKey.com and you click on the integrations page, scroll down to the video intercom section, you will see MyDoorView's logo. Click on that. It'll take you right to a page that's going to teach you all about who MyDoorView is, what all their benefits are, and how it works with PDK. And you can actually schedule a time to have a customized demo with one of our partner success managers, as well as one of the guys over there at MyDoorView. So happy to get you guys learning a little bit more about it. But Jeff, we are just about out of time on today's episode of the Big Access Podcast. I want to thank you again for taking the time to jump on and to teach us a little bit more about who MyDoorView is, about what video intercom is, and really the benefits that it helps provide not only partners but end users as well. So thank you a ton for taking the time to jump on.
Sure. Thank you, Brock. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you bet. For those of you guys who have not already done so, be sure to subscribe to this podcast, give it a 5-star rating, and let us know if there's anything in particular that you are looking to learn. But that is all of our time for today. Thank you very much for joining in. We'll see you next week.